everybody. Welcome to the night crew. We have a great group here with us tonight. We have Mike Bonventry, Dust James, Kim Wardell Crowley. Did I say that right?
Wardell.
Wardell. Okay, sorry. And Kentucky guy, Lamar Callahan, and Michael Landingham. So welcome everybody. We're representing all over the place in the north and the south and the east and all the way up into Canada. And we just getting everybody going here. So we're going to be talking about some interesting topics tonight. There seems to be one or two things going on in the news these days. So let's see what we can get into. Wait a minute now. You know how I am, guys, when I try to do something, I'm liable to lose it. Okay, wait a minute.
The thrills of being live.
Okay. Just hang in there a minute. We'll get you there. We'll get you there. We got that going. Okay, somebody say something while I figure this out.
Good evening.
Well, I would like to say, have y'all noticed about the what happened with Matt Gaetz and going after the speaker, Speaker McCarthy, about trying to remove him, about going after Biden about the impeachment? Just some quick thoughts about that.
So
Anybody have any thoughts about that?
Are you saying Matt Gaetz is going after McCarthy for implementing the impeachment process today, or no?
Well, at first that's what the early complaint, but after he did, he was making up, saying other things that he didn't accomplish about lowering the debt or not spending more money by raising the nation's credit card debt limit and some other things. He said, it's only like what 3 or 4 people that can unseat him. So I you have to take a look more at what Matt Gaetz said on the floor today. So that is pretty interesting.
Yeah, he continues to say McCarthy hasn't delivered on quite a few promises. I know the situation well because I follow both of those guys. But the only thing that I don't understand about that is Matt Gaetz he was the standout for McCarthy becoming the leader, if you remember.
Right. Yeah, he was the last one. Yeah, he's the last one.
The end. Yeah. So he did. I mean, he actually made a motion today, if I'm not mistaken, or he threatened to make a motion to vacate the chair. Is that right?
Yeah, about a threat, and it looked like he might go through with it.
Yeah.
But he gave the speaker. Look, McCarthy gave Matt Gaetz what he wanted. He shouldn't even got out there and said anything on the floor in the first place. To even threaten to make a motion. So
yes,
once he did that, it's something else going on behind that. So.
Nope, I agree with you. I actually agree with you on this. Matt Gaetz should have kept his seat today. There was no reason for that whatsoever.
Yeah. So all the other things he was complaining about was just it was building up. I think after the debt ceiling loss, and now they're talking about the government deadline from running out of money, raising that. I think he's seeing McCarthy's gonna go with Biden again, and they want anarchy. So I mean, we already know what's going on.
Yeah, well, if he opens a checkbook to Biden on that, I'm gonna agree with Matt and say he does need to go because we're too far in debt. We've been spending money for the last 3 years we don't have. So.
Well, I agree that the debt is out of control, but mostly the $8 trillion came from those tax. Well, $2 trillion out of the $8 trillion came from those tax cuts that should have never been given in the first place during the pandemic. And I think all that money should have been spent through with the people during that time. But we've been wasting money like crazy, so that's got to stop.
Yeah, we keep sending it to another country too.
Well, that depends on who and where, and depends on where our interest.
Oh, I'm sorry. I should have been more clear. We spent way too much money to Ukraine.
Yeah, I would have had a better plan for that. If I was president, besides Biden at the time, when I ran in 2020.
Uh,
It's a long conversation about that, but we will get into that hopefully at another venture.
Yeah, the main problem I have is we don't know where the money's going. There's no tracker on it. We have no idea how the money's being spent.
Well, most of the money, when they say about billions of dollars, is mostly equipment. It's not money. They're giving money, then they give us the money back to buy our equipment. That's just the value of the equipment that we're giving them. We are giving them a public funding assistance for their people, of course. I think it's in the tune of, I think we're at about 13, 15, 18 billion. I think under 20, but it's outside of the spending for the military needs. So, but they gotta find people a solution in order to draw back spending all that money in Ukraine. When walking away and stopping the fund that's not what we do.
Yeah, we're gonna go defend their borders and leave ours wide open. It's crazy.
No, we can fix our borders at the same time. We can do both. We're a superpower. We can do both. We just don't have the right leadership that can really come up with ideas to really fix the problem.
Yeah, I know what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we're over there guarding their borders while we leave our borders wide open. Doesn't make sense.
I agree. It's the same here in this side of the country as well. It's the same here. Canada, $8 billion. We're not, $8 billion. Our people can't even afford to buy a stick of butter.
I agree with that. Now something's got to change. I'm not saying a continuation of it. I said we got to find a peaceful solution there in order to walk away. But we got to do more here. Also, we got to my grandma always said, you got to take care of your home before you think about taking care of somewhere else. But as a superpower, we have to find more ways that we have to help our people, but also not ignore our responsibilities in the world.
Absolutely. I agree. But we have to take care of our own, whether it be in the U.S., Canada.
Yeah.
We have to take care of our own.
I always say, take care of your neighbors. Take care of your house and your neighbors, and everything else will be fine.
Hey, that was something very interesting you just said there. Do you still consider the United States a superpower?
Yeah. Oh, we've always been a super. Yeah, we are a superpower because of the wars that we fought. Even though we're not perfect, and the technology that is far bar to none. There's also the people, and we're still trying to strive to become great. By America be fully great is by uniting all of us, besides color and party and all this fear mongering that's been dividing us for so long on both sides. Even the news are involved and everything like that. So it's a whole bigger conversation. That the depths of it is crazy, and I see it on both sides. That's why I'd be like a middle person or independent to run for president, because I see both sides and I can break it down.
I get Dust back in here. I didn't even realize he was gone until he sent me that private chat. Okay, Dust, you're back now, brother. Okay.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for filling in with the conversation while your host got situated here. Anyway, the next story, escaped murderer Danilo Cavalcante flees search area. Pennsylvania police pre-authorized a deadly force. So this situation is getting worse. Authorities searched Monday for escaped murderer Danilo Souza Cavalcante, who has eluded capture since breaking out of a southeastern Pennsylvania prison a week and a half ago after he apparently slipped through the search perimeter, changed his appearance, stole a dairy delivery van, and contacted acquaintances. Chester County residents were asked to be on the lookout, check their security cameras, and keep vehicles and homes locked as the search for Cavalcante continued, state police said on social media Monday morning. He is now considered armed and extremely dangerous after he stole a rifle from the garage of a local homeowner who fired several shots at the fugitive as he fled, police said Tuesday. It makes 13 days this guy's been on the loose. He must be a pretty intelligent guy. So they've got hundreds of law enforcement officers looking for him, and he escaped the perimeter that they thought they had him under. And he's just getting, and he's desperate. He has absolutely nothing to lose. So that makes him very dangerous right there. So what are your comments on that? Who wants to jump on that first?
Well, he's
Hey,
not. Go ahead.
Somebody's got a lot of feedback.
Yeah,
Somebody's TV or something.
somebody got a TV on? There you go, that killed it.
Yeah, it was hard to hear you, Steve, on a lot of that. That's why I said that. So.
Okay. Now, who wants to jump on that subject?
Well, he's not that far away from. He's a couple hundred miles south, but he knows the area, and he's familiar with farms and barns and sheds and how to stay out of the infrared tracking. And he seems to be doubling back a couple of times, going back into areas that were already searched and probably not continuing to be searched. So, there's so many factors in his favor right now with the heat. The dogs are affected by the heat. The infrared is affected by the heat. And it is a very rural area with thick brush. So, 12, 13 days doesn't really surprise me with his knowledge of the area and contacts in the area. And I guess they deported his sister because she wouldn't cooperate.
Oh, really? I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, they picked up his sister, and she would not cooperate with authorities, and they deported her. So she's with ICE right now.
Okay.
But here's the thing: they have over 500 armed forces or police officers, what have you. Over 500. They have helicopters in the air. They have dogs out on the ground. To me, it's not overkill because they need to find this guy, but it just amazes me how 500 it's not that very big of an area he's in. At least I don't think so. Where is this guy? Somebody's holding him. Somebody knows something. He's what is it? A double qualified homicide? I'm not even really sure what that means. Double qualified homicide.
He killed somebody in
He's
his
killed
country.
2 people.
Yeah.
Double qualified? I've never heard that term before. So just double murder?
I think he's also wanted for murder in Brazil.
Yes.
Yes.
He's wanted for murder in Brazil, and then he's wanted for murdering his girlfriend here.
Yeah. Stabbed her several times in front of her kids.
Right.
So he's not
Wow.
a nice guy.
What I don't understand is these gun owners, that are just leaving their guns out to grab, and the one guy he stole the .22 rifle from had a pistol and shot at him several times
Yeah.
and missed
Wow.
him. And missed him. And then I was watching the news today because it's kind of local for us, so we probably hear about it more than you do. Kind of like shark bites in Florida. I don't hear about those. The guy was sitting in his front porch saying, well, I dare him to come to my property. Well, he's got a scope and a flashlight. He can shoot you from 100 yards away before you even know he's on your property. So I wouldn't be taunting him, even though it's a .22 rifle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Lamar,
Well, I was gonna say surprisingly, this guy is still out there, and he's somehow found a weapon, and it's like 500 officers. Somebody said, yeah, that's shocking. He's still not caught. They better hurry up and find him before he gets too desperate enough and there would be a shootout, God forbid, that occur where innocent people's lives might be in jeopardy. So hopefully they find him quickly. But I just don't know. I forget. I remember how he got out. Remember that's the video. He climbed up the wall. Is that the same guy? Am I
Yeah,
correct?
he has somebody watching out for him too. They don't mention that.
But
Yeah, they said he probably guard. The guard was probably in the tower. They fired.
They fired the guard.
Yeah, they fired the guard. But I don't know. I don't know if he was part of it or not. But how he monkey himself out of there, that was like. I think some other inmate did the same thing before, and they thought they fixed that kind of sneaky way out. But
Yeah,
of course,
the other inmate did it about a month ago, so they don't know if that inmate told him how to do it but whatever. That guard, I don't know what he was doing, but he wasn't looking at the camera.
They need to raise the reward. Maybe $25,000 might not be enough. Maybe they need to raise the reward.
Well, you can raise the money if you want. I mean, that definitely would help. But at the same time, if he's already got a weapon, I think people would be more inclined to be more at not trying to interfere too much. Maybe some brave people would, and they should, brave citizens. But I mean, if he's that dangerous and he's going to be that desperate not to go back, because I believe he's not going to go back quietly.
No, but somebody knows where he is. Like 11 days, 11 nights.
He's got to be in somebody's house. He's got to be in somebody's house that's like not there or something. There's only one. And he's like circling around. That's where he found the weapon and all that stuff. Well, now he's not there where he found the weapon, but he's breaking in houses and whatnot, scaring people.
Well, he's been seen on either a Ring or a trail cam almost every day. So
he's out there.
He's coming back into where the houses are almost every day. Somebody has spotted him after the fact. But what I don't understand, I have a Ring system on my house, and it's not an elaborate one. But every time somebody walks by it, my phone rings an alarm.
Right.
The prison system can't have a doorbell alarm when somebody's on camera. So if the guard is watching YouTubes or if the guard is sleeping, a motion detector can't come off and wake them up.
Like I said, I think he may be with a part of it. They still investigating him, even though they fired him. He's still being investigated.
Yeah.
So,
but
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know if he was part of it or he was just goofing off.
And goofing off, that was
not paying attention.
Was it when the other inmate that escaped a month earlier? Was that the same guard that he didn't see nothing?
No.
There as well.
That was another guard who did not spot him climbing up, but did spot him when he got to the roof.
Oh! I thought he got away. Well, he didn't get away. He just got on the roof and stuff.
Yeah, one of the guards did spot him, and they caught him within, I don't know, a couple hours or something. But they knew he was missing before he left the property. This guy, they didn't know he was missing until they did a roll call when they were checking everybody back into the building.
I think it was 2 hours after they were like in there. So
yeah.
But what the police need to do now is, if he's doubling back, they need to double back. And I mean, unless they found him again, he's got, like I said, he's got to be having in somebody's house with somebody's vehicle, and then going in and out. And that's why they can't find him. If they're doing the search with the infrared and whatnot, especially at night, they would have found him by now. So he's got to be somewhere.
Not necessarily, because he's very familiar with farms, and he's in a very rural farm area. So if he's laying up in a shed or a barn at night, infrared is not going to find him. Right.
So he's somewhere. So I know he was, the man of the land. I didn't know about that. So, okay, well, yeah, they're gonna have a tough time. Hopefully they find him soon, though.
And I know 500 people seems like a lot, but in our area, you can't go 20 yards off the road without being tangled up. Those 500 people would have to be arm lock, and to cover a very small area.
Right.
And the way the bushes are and the way the thick brushes are and the swamp areas, it's almost impossible to create a human chain once you get 20 yards off the road in
Right.
some of these wooded areas. And with the heat and the moisture, the dogs have been inefficient. And with the heat, the infrared has been inefficient.
Right. Okay. And well, where exactly this happened? I know it's in Pennsylvania. Is it near Cleveland somewhere?
Chester
No, no.
County, wherever that is.
No, there's more south in Pennsylvania,
Hold on for a second.
above the Pittsburgh area.
Hold on.
Lamar, you want to weigh in on this, brother?
No, I'm fine. I followed this very, very, very little bit.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that. I don't know if y'all heard that. Did y'all hear that?
No.
Did y'all hear that?
No.
Well,
No.
Steve knows about this, but that was an FBI copter.
Hmm.
Yes, it was.
For what?
That's a long story. You have to look at my website, landinghamcase.com. Google Landingham versus Department of Justice. Presidential candidate has a $2 billion lawsuit against the Justice Department about the cover-up, which is on my website, and it's about the former president back in 2020. So that right there, I hear it. They were slowing down. They always do this. They flew yesterday, not yesterday because yesterday was 9/11. Sunday, Monday, they've been doing that right over my house, slowing down. I got pictures of it of the other day. I knew I heard it. I'm like, I thought, y'all heard it. But I ran out there, it went right over my house again, slowed down, blacked out. It wasn't a police helicopter because they're different. And ever since what happened between me and Trump back then on my website, I'm kind of particular of helicopters. I'm sorry to interrupt, but that kind of got me off nerve right there. Sorry.
Jim, you want to weigh in on this topic, or did you already? I done forgot.
I'm good. I did.
Anybody else got anything on this before we move on?
Just one thing. I think I've kind of been following this story, and I think that everybody's on the right track. But just to throw this out there, a friend of mine who does this kind of stuff for a living, actually, she said that look at this as, does this guy actually have a crew instead of just one person helping him? And I think she's spot on when she said that. We've had a lot of talks about this. This guy's dangerous, but I think it's more than just him. And when it's all said and done, I think the number is going to be surprising because of all the bad stuff this guy's done. How many people's actually helping him?
Yeah, could be.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
Righty, let's go to the next topic. Florida's Surgeon General Joseph Ladapo tells people to stay clear of COVID-19 booster shots. With the new COVID-19 booster set to be green-lighted for use this week by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Florida's right-wing Surgeon General Dr. Joseph Ladapo advised Floridians to stay clear of the updated mRNA vaccines tailored against the most recent variant to be dominant, Omicron XBB.1.5. Appointed Surgeon General 2 years ago by Florida's fascistic governor, Ron DeSantis, Ladapo has continuously spread flagrant disinformation on virtually every aspect of the pandemic. At a press conference Thursday in Jacksonville alongside DeSantis, Ladapo falsely stated there's a new vaccine that's coming around the corner, a new mRNA COVID-19 vaccine, and there's essentially no evidence for it. There has been no clinical trial done in human beings showing it benefits people. There's been no clinical trial showing that it is a safe product for people. And not only that, but then there are a lot of red flags. As we all know, the COVID-19 shots have always been controversial. Some people get it and some don't. I personally don't feel like I need to be against anybody that disagrees with me on that. I have gotten 4 or 5 of the shots, and maybe I'll get another one if they come available. I don't know. But then again, I'm 68 years old and I'm a heart patient. So, I really need to take them, I think. But anyway, what are your thoughts on that? A lot of people are bringing their masks out nowadays. So who wants to jump on that? Kim, would you like to start us off? I heard some of the ladies come first.
Oh boy, I don't know if we have enough time for me to start on this one. I'm kind of with this guy. I'm kind of with this guy because I'm not against if you want to take a vaccine for this. I love you. I will not speak ill of you. I choose not to. I'm for this Florida General or Surgeon General. He's spot on saying that there wasn't enough tests done. This was not tested on human beings. Just like the previous vaccination, the animals that it was tested on, monkeys, rats, I think, and I might get my data wrong here, so forgive me, so I won't say numbers, but a larger percentage, all of the animals died, all of them. So to me, this is just another, I really have a lot to say about these things. It's a lot of control. It's a lot of lies. It's a lot of greed. You can get me going for hours on this subject. I think he's right. And I really applaud him for standing up in something that he believes in, especially the position that he's in. He's not going to be very popular. And I think he's getting people are saying he's spreading misinformation and he's trying to get people not to take the vaccine. He's just asking people to use a little bit more common sense. All of these conspiracies, most of these conspiracies that have gone on right at the onset of the COVID vaccinations, proving to be true. They are proven to be true. Who, one of the biggest, most corrupt organizations on the planet, just came out and said, yeah, you know what? The masks don't work. So all this time, right? Not just one, but put 2 on now. We need you to put 2 on just to make sure you're safe because it's for the greater good, right? Comes out and says, you know what? They don't really work. And we knew this all along. We knew this all along. So with this going on, I'm with him. I'm for him. I'm like, way to go, buddy. Stand up for what you believe and say it because he's in a position to say it. He's in a position. I'm not. Nobody will listen to me. He is.
Well, I just listened to you because you didn't give exact numbers, but you gave some examples of animals dying, of people dying. I'm not hearing any. I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just not hearing any facts. I'm not hearing any statistics.
Oh, from him or from anybody?
No, from him.
Okay.
I heard more statistics from you just now than I've heard from him. And I don't know you, but I don't know you to have a history of making false statements where they say he has a history of making false statements. So I'm not taking sides. I had all my vaccines because I'm a diabetic, I'm older, and I got COVID twice. And we have friends and associates who died during COVID, and some of them were vaccinated and some of them weren't. And I've got some very close people who have kids who never got a vaccination and never got a sniffle, while others who were vaccinated got deathly sick. So, I'm just kind of like you. God bless you. Each to their own, and do what makes you feel comfortable.
I just don't know if this happens again, if our governments, if the world, if this happens again, I don't know how, we're supposed to be kind and loving and gentle. I'm a Christian, so I have, I'm supposed to act this certain way, but I don't know how gentle I can be if this goes on again. I don't know how much more gentle, and forgive me, because there has been a lot, Mike, of statistics come out since of, oh, we were wrong, oh, we were wrong, oh, we were wrong, taking away our jobs, taking away, family members dying. Yes, they died of the vaccination. Yes, they died of COVID for not, I'm not going to get into all that stuff, but all of the stuff that has come out since, okay, that, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I call myself a conspiracy realist, but all of these things that have come out, people are still not willing, not wanting to pay attention to or listen to, or even, I was reading today about philosophy. Like, do we need philosophers in this world, really? And then I started studying philosophy, the definition of philosophy, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we need more philosophers. We need more people who are willing to think deep and reason deeply and go against the norm and start thinking and then come back and debate properly, right? Both sides, not just unvaccinated and vaccinated. But so much has come out against what has gone on. Many, as you probably know, I'm not telling you anything you probably don't know, many scientists, many doctors, very, very intelligent people have come out saying, this isn't right. It was wrong. We tried to speak up. They silenced us. I just have a lot to say about this subject. And one thing about this Florida general surgeon, I don't know too much about him, so I don't want to say too much negative things or things that may be true or not true. However, is it possible that there is so much negativity against this man? Like you said, he's not coming out with a lot of stats. I think he's come out with some stats, but can it be because he has such a strong opinion on subjects that are not, well, that you really have to be politically correct in, walk on eggshells. So many subjects, he has a great, strong opinion that isn't the normal opinion. Abortions, all kinds of things. I'm not saying he's right or wrong, okay? I'm just saying he has a lot of strong opinions on matters that he doesn't back down from. And so the rest of the world, if you will, can't handle that because, it's too politically correct. They cannot go with him. Even people who are against abortion won't stand up because it's, oh, I don't want to go there. I don't want people to hate me. I don't want people to say, I don't want to start an argument. And this guy's okay to start an argument.
I agree. And sometimes the most hated people are the ones who tell the truth.
That's for sure.
So, just to chime in here real quick. First of all, if you get the shot or you don't get the shot, God bless. I don't. It has nothing to do with me. I've never gotten it. I've not allowed my family to get the jab either. My dad's 85 years old. His wife is 84. She's never had COVID. He did get COVID, but he wasn't in bad shape at all. I got COVID. First thing I got was a sore throat. Anyways, and I know people have died from it. I know it's real. I've lost good friends. First of all, to speak on this article, just about the statistics. This article was written by obviously a left wing who doesn't like this guy. And if you read the article closely, there's no quotes in here. So they don't have his exact speech in here. I'm sure when he delivered the speech to his constituents in Florida, he had the statistics to back it up. I've actually seen him speak before. He does a very elegant and very good job. He's been around a while. On this, here's the thing on the vaccine. Why are we hearing it right now? Why are we hearing about masking that? Let's just be honest about it. The election's coming up. This was a control mechanism when it first started. I don't think they're going to get away with it this time, though. Too many people have what I call woken up, and they see that it doesn't work. If you're going to take a vaccine, you're not supposed to get the disease or the virus that you're taking the vaccine for. I'm a big believer in vaccines, just not this jab at all.
Exactly.
I think-
Exactly.
I think it was rushed. I think there's other things behind it. Unfortunately, it was more political than we know. And I just, the mask. Now they're saying the N95 is the only mask that works. I mean, I started calling those face diapers. I quit wearing them. Whoever does wear them, that's fine. Now, if you're wearing one in a car by yourself, I'm going to make fun of you. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm
Yeah.
going to call you a Joe Biden voter and make fun of you.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's just my opinion. These boosters and that, like my sister, she has diabetes. She has any kind of pre-existing condition you can think of, and she got the first shot because her doctor recommended. It made her sick. She actually went in the hospital and got COVID. And thankfully, after I showed her some research that I've done over the years, she hasn't took anything else. Just be very careful what we give our children, because that's who they're after next on these vaccines. I promise you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to say, my thoughts about the whole situation. I was, again, in the, trying to be in the campaign mode, but after what happened between me and Trump, and then the virus happened, that was a double whammy on me. So, but what I remembered when he was mentioning about the vaccine, it was rushed. It was, and the confusion of everything about how the truth about the virus, where it came from, how transmitted. I mean, how much it could be transmitted through the air. If they were just leaving something on the counter for days on end. This is a man-made. I didn't call it like a virus, like a natural virus. This is man-made, and it was released even on intentionally or not intentionally, but it was released by the Chinese government. And our leaders at the time, that was President Trump, and the Republicans in Congress, and some Democrats as well, they didn't know what was going on, or well, some people did, and they kind of didn't clarify the messaging about COVID-19, the mask, vaccines. It was all a ploy to try to divide us, be afraid of what we're facing. And when we were so divided at the time, we were listening to every little witch doctor excuse to take this, take some horse medicine, drink some bleach, whatever. It was crazy. People were dying left and right. And it scared me because I tell you, it scared the hell out of me because I didn't know if I should take the vaccine or not. Because the messaging was all over the damn place. But I knew that one thing about in life, you got to survive. You got to do what you got to do and make the best decisions possible. So I took the first one, and I took the second one when it first came out. I thought it was FDA approved. It said it was FDA approved. I said, okay, I'll take it now, But then after I took the first one, then I'm like, wait a minute, it's not FDA approved? No, it's emergency authorization use. I'm like, well, how come the news said, and this was like the CNNs and the MSNBCs of the world said that. And I remember distinctly. So I know that right now we're having an uptick more so because I thought COVID was over. Now it's like it just came back almost with a vengeance. And now we're being almost told that we got to wear a mask, take the booster this week. But the messaging early on has confused us and got us debating, should we or should we not? And yes, the vaccine should have been tested thoroughly. But truth of the matter is, when I said that this is a man-made virus, right? So they got to have an antidote just in case it gets out of control. Now, I'm guessing that they may had something like that and copied it off the Chinese or something. That's my guesstimation from what I heard before. But I just believe that the messaging was all wrong from the beginning. We didn't get the whole truth, and we're still not getting the damn truth about it. And we're complaining about should we have our kids wear a mask or not, or should we wear a mask? We got to do all we can. If you don't want to take the vaccine, that's fine. I'm not. I ain't gonna make nobody do what they don't want to do. But I would have as president, would have found a way to communicate to the American people with clarity of the threats of this virus and what we should really do about it, and then have a consensus of people on both sides and both chambers to get behind it. They can tell their constituents to trust them, make them trust them like we're doing the right thing, but we don't have that. And this is why we're in the mess we're in right now.
People
Michael,
don't
I
trust
just
their
want to
government.
sorry, we can't call it a virus. We can't.
No, it's not a virus. No,
Medically,
it's a man-made biological weapon.
it is not a virus. Many of the most, I don't know, many physicians, doctors, scientists out there have said it's not a virus. Right?
No, it's not.
It's not a virus.
No.
So we can't call it that. And
No.
another thing, I just want to point out, I remember posting, I did so much, probably too much. I was probably a little too obsessed, and I do admit to that. I did so much research, and it was driving me crazy. I was copying and pasting directly from the WHO website, from Moderna website, from Johnson & Johnson's website. I was going and copying and pasting things that I found. You got to dig a little deeper. You can't just go on the landing page, right? Because a lot of people only go on the landing page. I'm going to call it a landing page.
No, I go. That's funny. I'm a landing.
And then you got to find words that they're using and go study that word, right? Because they try to
Right.
trick us. I was copying and pasting, and I just kept saying this is false information. And I'm like, wait a second. I even got a phone call from the government. Okay, somebody in the government twice.
Right.
Okay, and I'm saying, wait a minute. This came off of our Canadian government's website, and they're like, no, you have to show me, prove it to me. I said, okay. And I did. Like, it came right off. I'm in Canada, so it came right off of our Canadian government website. And I am getting called and saying that I'm spreading misinformation and doing all this. I'm telling you, those things started making me think deeper. What's going on here? If this is on my website, my Canadian website, the people who are supposed to take care of me and protect me and think of me, and now they're calling me and telling me, this is false information. That's what got me really thinking. We had people come to our door, my husband and I. Okay, this is not right. They don't want us to know something. That's what I started thinking. So it goes a lot deeper than I think that we could get in this show. And again, and I'll say it one more time. I won't say it again. If you want to take it, I love you. I will not disrespect you. I will not,
I would never take it again.
Everybody has to do what they feel they have to do. And I will do what you know what I mean? But something's wrong here. And so this next one coming through, there's no way. No way. My husband and I lost our jobs. We did that choice. We did that choice. 15.
I agree with you because, like I said, it's something they're hiding, and if you're not going to be clear about the threat and tell us the real deal about what's really going on, how can we trust you in saying take this or take that? I understand. That's why I said the messaging early on, the cover up and shoot after that has been very messy, and that's why trust.
How do we trust anything? Because throughout time, we only find out about it when it gets exposed.
Right.
All the recall, the 100,000 cars that are recalled for faulty this and faulty that, and the 100,000 games that catch on fire and burn houses down. But we never hear about it until it gets, thank God for social media, because before cameras, there was so much we didn't hear about.
Yeah, but the faulty cars and stuff like that. I don't know that people actually purposely put out a faulty car and then want to recall it. I think these are things that happen in life. There are things that happen in life that we don't know. Mistakes happen. We're all humans.
No,
I don't know that can be compared.
I know things happen, but I also see a very a consistency in, we knew about it. We just didn't say anything because it didn't reach that level. So, when you're calling back 100,000 cars, and then you find out they knew in the first 20,000,
right?
Or forget the cars, whatever it is. We have a history of, we got caught. We better talk about what we know now.
Yeah. Let's face it. If
Well,
Bill
besides-
Gates is involved, we should question.
That's
Well,
right.
I would say this: the reason why they wait till it does come out like it does, because they would have had to spend more money by doing the right thing. And in business, they are all about being cheap and greed and get more bang for the buck. So
You know
regardless of
what I would like to see statistics on is how much money did they really save after it came out and they had to reimburse everybody and pay the damages and pay the lawsuits and pay all the fines. So did they really make that much more money by not being honest?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I agree. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I agree 100%. It's cheaper. My wife, when I was in the hospital, they dumped her out of a wheelchair. She cut her lip open, hurt her ribs, hurt her leg. And now my wife's a lawyer. And she said, I don't want to sue anybody. All I want to know is, will you take care of the plastic surgery on my lip in the future? Nobody would answer her. She was forced into getting a personal injury attorney. And basically the message is, it's cheaper to pay you, who got pushed to the point of suing us, than the last 100,000 people who complained about us and just went away because they weren't lawyers.
Right.
It's just so much cheaper to be silent and let you disappear. And whatever you charge us, our insurance is going to pay for it anyways. And it's just cheaper to pay the one or two people who cry the loudest and ignore the thousands who don't follow through or can't afford to.
That's true.
It's all about money in the end.
Always.
Oh, yeah, always.
Always.
Lamar, this is your state. What do you think? Lamar?
No,
Wow. I don't even know where to start. I mean, I've heard, geez, I'm about to ask my teacher from Memphis to go to the bathroom and get me some toilet paper. I've heard so much. You know, I live here in Florida, and 2 hours ago, I was at a major retailer in the US, and you know, I'd say good half of us were doing this.
oh wow.
So when it comes to those of us that know Ron DeSantis know that he's a liar. Okay? So not just that, knowing that he's a liar, but knowing his administration. Thank you. Know that he's a liar. So to say that, you know, he's just making this stuff up, know that he's full of manure. And, you know, I don't think that, you know, he's making this up. You don't know DeSantis. This guy is running to the right of the Antichrist. And we know that he's a liar. And how many millions of people died because of his lies, knowing that COVID was bad and wouldn't tell anybody. He had COVID and still wouldn't tell anybody. So when we talk about having conspiracy theories, you know, think of how many people when COVID was being released and let people know, the first thing that was being said is, people, wash your hands. And how many people got upset because they were being told to wash your hands?
It's true.
Now, that's called retardation. You should have known how to wash your hands as a little child. But you're going to get upset because somebody in the government told you to wash your hands and how to wash your hands? Oh, it's the government. They're telling me to wash my hands. Well, you should have known how to wash your hands when you were a child before you went into preschool. But no, that's a conspiracy about what? Hillary Clinton eating your baby or something? And then about, you know, wearing a face mask, which is about you talking, and since you don't know how to talk, you don't know how to keep from spitting on somebody else. That's about protecting somebody else. And since you don't know how to not spit when you talk, they're saying go ahead and put on 2 masks. But I guess that's, again, another conspiracy because you don't know how to talk without spitting on somebody else. Talk about conspiracies. Ron DeSantis is another jackass who's keeping education from people, who is keeping healthcare from people, who is denying we in Florida have voted to give the rights back to people who have already done their time. And he say, no, I don't want to do that. I'm in Florida watching this watching this guy. We are, in terms of COVID, for the past month and a half, the news has been talking about long COVID, the long effects of it. The reason they're talking about getting another booster shot is because we're going into the fall and people haven't figured out that in the fall, you always get a booster shot for the flu. And that's why we in Florida in September 12th are wearing masks, because there is another epidemic. And when you look at children, I'm not even going to ask her the name of her school. It's probably wrong to do that. Children in Tennessee are being told to stay home because other children and teachers are being affected with COVID. So to have some rocket scientists, Dr. Joseph Lapido, that's like saying Dr. What's a rocket scientist in the Senate from Kentucky? He's an eye doctor from a self-appointed school that he brought up. That's like Trump in his university, self-appointed, professor of himself. So when we talk about conspiracies, you got to think of the source. And of course, there's no, talk about no clinical trials. There's no stats here. This guy's an avowed liar, running to the right of one of the biggest liars this country has ever seen. And people talk about, oh, I'm afraid of a mask. Why? Because you like to spit on people?
I don't think that's what it is.
It's a control thing, buddy.
You don't what? You're afraid of a mask?
I'm not afraid of it.
Protect other people so they don't have to receive your spit when you talk. That's what a mask is for. That's why doctors and nurses are there. They're not worried about spitting on you. They're worried about your blood and such, and when you spit, getting on them. That's what the mask is protecting. But it shouldn't have to be that way. But the first thing that the government was telling people is wash your hands. Protect yourself.
It's true.
Because people don't know how to come out of the bathroom with clean hands. People don't know how to wash themselves instead of picking their noses. It's about simple, clean hygiene.
But I'm also with him. If I see you wearing a mask in your car alone, I'll probably still make fun. Wear a mask. I'm okay with that.
I don't wear a mask when I don't wear a mask when I'm alone in the car. But when I get out in public, I'm wearing a mask.
Well, I guess my question is whether it works or it doesn't work. Does it really hurt to just be courteous of other people who believe one way or the other?
Exactly.
Exactly. But don't get mad at people because I find a lot of the people, and I'm just saying, you're right. I agree with you. If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. Like, I'm not going to say anything negative to you. I have friends. They wear their masks. I have family members. I don't care. But if I'm not going to wear my mask and you say something like, well, you can't see your grandkids or you can't see your nieces if you don't put a mask on, it's ridiculous. We've had the flu since the beginning of time.
Well,
Okay.
we have that incident, and it's ridiculous to you, but
Yeah.
not wearing a mask would be ridiculous to the other side. So which side is right? Half the country believes one thing, half the country believes the other thing.
Well, when the
Who determines who's right?
well, let's just think about that for a second. Is somebody right? Maybe somebody's more right. I don't know, but let's just think about it. They did all these tests with different viruses, different particles, and what goes through these masks. This was just done, I think, a week or two ago. They put this out there, and everything goes through the dang mask.
No, I agree with you, but
It doesn't help.
But 2 years ago, they didn't do those tests, and they didn't know what was going through and what wasn't
So
going through.
you ever see that meme? You ever see the meme like the gas mask and then the Ebola mask? And they're like the biggest threat known to man, the coronavirus, and it shows the little mask. Like it's kind of comical.
That's why you use a filter. That's why you use a filter.
Well, my niece is getting married at the end of the month, and on her invitations, she said, please don't come to my wedding if you're not getting the vaccinations. Not that I disagree with you, but I want the majority of my guests to feel comfortable who believe in it.
It's crazy.
That was hard. That was hard for her because she had to tell some loved ones and some very good friends, I don't disagree with you, but I've got well over 100 people here, and I don't want the ones who do believe in it to be feeling like they're exposed to something, whether they're right or wrong. So can you just
unvaccinated people are not contagious, just like vaccinated people are not contagious.
But you know what? There's a lot of
people that are
contagious, medicated people on that side that say it's bull. But there's equally
take this vaccination,
educated medical people on the other side that say it's not true.
Make sure you get your second and your 10th. You have to get that 10th booster though, because the one that we told you would actually save your life isn't saving your life anymore. So go get 10 more just to be sure.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying if half the country believes one way and the other half of the country believes the other way, not everybody can be right. So why don't we just practice a little common courtesy, and for the sake of maybe we're wrong.
If somebody asked me to wear a mask, I'm not one of those ones who are saying, I'm not coming if I have to wear a mask, okay? I'm not. If I were to go to your backyard barbecue and you say, please wear a mask, I'd wear a mask. I have no problem with that. If you say, don't come to my backyard barbecue because you're not vaccinated, I have a major problem with that. Now, today, maybe, the very on-site, we didn't know as much information. We have so much information now that I have a major problem with that.
Well, like I said, overall, this started the confusion and how we're not on the same viewpoint about what we should do to protect ourselves or shouldn't do because of this, that, and the other. The messaging was wrong from the get. No clarity, no truths about really the threat. And and I said this during the 2020 election, what's going to happen is we're not going to go back to like it was before, right? It's not, that ship is sailed. But each and every time we don't have anybody to bring us together and show us, tell us the truth about what really happened and to let us know exactly what we need to look out for and how to protect ourselves better. And that we can trust it. We're going to continue going down the rabbit hole of division and hearing different, I ain't gonna say conspiracy theories, but I will say that, or false ideas or false hopes that can help protect you or help cure you from the COVID. But as long as we're going down this road because of the lack of clarity about from the very beginning of the COVID and the medicines and the mask, we're gonna just continue going down this rabbit hole that we shouldn't be going down.
Well, thanks everybody for your opinion on that. Let's go to another topic, if you don't mind. I think we've covered that one pretty well.
And I still like everybody, even though we agree to disagree.
I was just going to say that. I don't know you guys, but I love you all.
That is the special thing about America. We can have disagreements, but we still on one team.
Some of us can, but there are others that can't.
Amen.
Yeah.
All right. Well, how about this?
Kumbaya.
Dozens of North Carolina Methodist churches join over 6,000 leaving denomination. A group of 36 United Methodist churches in North Carolina that had sued, demanding to sever their ties to the denomination, having agreed to leave using a plan approved by church leaders in 2019. The Western North Carolina Conference announced. The group, which includes some of the biggest churches in the conference, will formally exit the denomination at a special session of the conference or regional geographic body on November 4th. United Methodists across the country are mired in a messy divorce over theological differences, mostly regarding ordination and marriage of LGBT Christians. Now that right there is something that's splitting a lot of churches in the United States and maybe up in Canada too. I don't know, probably. But this is something that's very controversial, just like COVID-19. You're going to have people on one side disagreeing with people on the other. And I don't know, like we said about COVID, I can agree to disagree with whatever you feel on this. But I'd love to hear your opinions. Who wants to start this one out? Kentucky guy, go ahead.
Okay. So no matter how you feel about this, what side you're on, any denomination that you belong to, this is coming to your church. I'm a Baptist, and we actually had to do some work on this to prepare for it. It's coming sooner or later. Somebody, if you have an order, we call it, or a rule in your church, not to accept someone who's gay or something of that nature, it's coming. Somebody's going to try it, and they're going to do what they can. This right here, and I really believe this has a lot to do with, and I know it's a different religion, but the Vatican and our current Pope has a lot to do with him, because he's the most liberal Pope we've ever had, and he's all about the LGBT community and what have you. And it looks like it's rubbed off on the United Methodists. This is the first I've actually heard about this story, so I don't know a lot about it, but I do know in general that we're all going to face it. So get ready.
All right.
Yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Kim?
Okay. There's a lot to unpack here. I haven't heard about this much, but I did do a little bit of reading on it. And I want to say, first and foremost, just like I said, whether you're wear a mask, get vaccinated, I love you. You're a human being, and my Christ died for you just as much as he died for me. So I want to put that out there. I may not agree with a lot of things, but I will still love you. Okay, when you said that we don't allow the gay community, I don't know if that's how you worded it, but see, it's a double conundrum there. Do we allow every single person to be allowed to come in through the doors of a church? Because the church
can I clarify?
I don't mean that just because you're sick. That's not what I mean. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me clarify real quick. I don't mean not come in the door. I mean actually taking up membership in your church.
Right. Okay. So we cannot change scripture. Whether you believe scripture or not, you cannot change scripture as a Christian. You can't add to it because it's the flavor du jour. You can't take away from it because it's the flavor du jour and you don't like it. It makes you feel bad and you disagree or agree. Period. Now, I just want to go to the very part of this. I've never heard. Now, I know in scripture it tells us that we are not to sue one another. So the fact that, see, I don't know much about it, so forgive me, I just don't understand a church suing a church, like a denomination suing, because that just goes against scripture itself, right? That's scripture tells us we're not to sue one another. In Corinthians, like, we don't do that. You do not sue a brother. Those outside of the believing faith, it's a different story. But you don't sue one another first, okay? First of all, that's that. To separate, now our churches here, you say there that it's the Methodist church, maybe. Here we're having the United churches are allowing gay pastors and so forth, gay reverends and so forth. Right next door to my church, we have a church that's raising the rainbow flag. I love you. I am not homophobic. My uncle has been with the same man. Well, he's passed now, but for 40 years. My sister was bisexual. I love my family. I am not homophobic by any means, but I can't celebrate it. I can't celebrate a gay pastor. I can't personally. My thing here is churches suing churches and leaving a denomination and suing. I don't know if any of you guys caught that part. What's with that? Just leave. Do you have to sue? Do you have to take it to court? I don't understand that process. Leave.
Yeah, I didn't catch that either. Why are they suing them?
I know that a lot of times when churches split, they sue over the property. Some of them will be staying with the building and some will go. So a lot of times there are people on both sides of the fence that are officially members and sometimes trustees. And some of them may have their name on the mortgage or whatever. And it gets to be a really, really complicated situation. And a lot of times it comes down to who gets the property if we split. Do we go or do you go? Do we stay or do they stay? So that's how that normally plays out.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
A church
pretty
is
much.
a business, just like any other a church is a business, just like any other business. It's just that
Yep.
it's a nonprofit, and so you're looking at the officers of the business adhering to the bylaws, and so
Yeah.
you have in the second group or the second paragraph that they've already decided this. This was decided back in 2019, which is the first paragraph, and this was already agreed upon. This was already worked out. It ends November 4th, the divorce. It's already been worked out. This was worked out, what, 4 or 5 years ago? This is really just an information piece.
Okay.
This
So this has
the
already been
piece.
settled? Sorry,
Yeah, this was
Lamar.
settled
This
back
is,
in 2019.
2019 is when they
This
draw the
was in
plan
the
up.
current news. I got this.
Yeah, it's the first paragraph.
Right.
Hmm.
If 2019, if you
Yeah,
read it,
it says
was when
it
the
says
was when
have
the
agreed to
original
leave using a plan approved by church leaders in 2019.
right. So they came up with the plan on how
first-
to handle this situation in 2019. This situation we're reading about has not been resolved.
yeah, they probably
Right.
couldn't because COVID happened and everything as
No, it
well,
says
right?
have agreed to leave using a plan approved.
Yeah. I don't know.
No, this says have agreed to leave using a plan approved by church leaders in 2019, and then in the second paragraph, it's in at the special session of the conference or regional geographic body on November 4th of this year. This was approved 4 or 5 years ago. This piece is just an informational piece to say, hey, people, guess what's going to happen November 4th?
Right. It's formally exit the denomination.
This is just totally,
Mm-hmm.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all I can
This
say
is
is,
this is
truthfully,
this
it's
is a
just,
death announcement. This is an obituary.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just sad all the way around overall.
Yeah.
And, one thing I've learned, I was brought up in church, believing like Jesus washing your feet and everything like that. And two things I've learned through my Christian walk is God gives us free will, and the only main commandment He wants us to do towards each other, to treat each other, is with love. And I know in some people's lives, people choose to love people who are the same or different, and some who have religious beliefs are triggered by that. And I understand both sides, but the one thing our God taught us is that we have the free will to choose. But mainly it's about love. It doesn't matter about no more. It's not about the same sex or whatnot. Mainly it's love. And if you look at it that way, in that lens, if you focus on that, then maybe you can find some middle ground. I know there's be some controversies where certain family members with you can't see your name, ma'am. What's your name?
Kim.
Kim. Hi, Kim. I'm sorry. How about when you say you love your family and whatnot, regardless of how they feel, who they want to love, it doesn't really matter. The key thing is love, and that's all I want to say about that.
Yeah.
Right. Love the sinner, but hate the sin. Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Another
The sin part. Yeah.
I always
Yeah.
thought it was kind of like love without judgment.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
no, we cannot have love without judgment. That is impossible for human beings to do. So we like the idea of not judging, but it's impossible
Yeah.
as human beings not to do that.
Oh,
We
I
like
agree
the
with you.
idea.
I agree with you. I agree, but that wasn't the concept 2,000 years ago, or at the
No.
beginning.
I don't know about that.
Well,
But the bottom,
they was throwing
bottom
stones
line
at people
is
back then.
to love. Listen, Jesus knew that Judas was going to betray him, and he still washed his feet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that is a perfect example for us to love. We love. We don't have to celebrate. Like, I'm not going to go to a friend's divorce party. I would not go to a divorce party. Okay, I won't. There's a lot of things. Okay, I won't go to a bigotry party. I won't go to a KKK party. I don't believe in all of these things. Okay, I won't. I won't celebrate anything that I believe. God loves. And how dare you hate somebody? How dare you hate somebody for anything, for their skin color, their sexual orientation, their religion? I don't care. I will never hate you. Doesn't mean I have to agree or celebrate it with you. Okay.
Right.
agreed.
We all know racists. We all know religious hypocrites. We all know somebody in any circle in life. Okay. We all know them.
Right.
And maybe we've been one sometime in our life. I don't know. Forgive me if I have, but it doesn't. You're right. You're absolutely right, Michael. We just got to love. We got to love. We don't have to celebrate something that we don't agree with, but we have to love. And that's hard for some people to understand, especially when you bring religion into it.
Can y'all give me 1 minute?
Yeah.
Give me 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Well, I'll just continue on that while he's coming back. Because I told you at the beginning, I have a lot of opinions. It's hard for some people to understand that, especially when you bring religion into something, because there is a lot of legalism in church. Okay. There's a lot of legalism. And I'll be the first to agree. I'm a Christ lover. I do my best on a daily basis to be a Christ follower, and I fail regularly. But there is a lot of legalism in the church, and the church hurts a lot of people, and they have since the beginning of time. And
I agree. There's Christianity, there's religion, and then there's the business of religion.
yeah.
When I was a kid, I spent a lot of weekends with different friends. So when I was spending the weekend with my Jewish friends, I went to temple with them on the weekend. When I was with the Methodist friends, I went to the Methodist church. When I was with the Catholic friends, I went to the Catholic church. So I was exposed to many, many different religions. And I think the common denominator is whether they believed in God without Jesus or God with Jesus or whoever they believed in. I think the general consensus was to be kind and to love each other, and don't throw stones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though throughout history we've killed more people in the name of religion than many wars.
Yeah.
Okay. Has everybody weighed in on this? Did we miss anybody?
I
Yeah,
still
I think
love
we did.
everybody.
Yeah,
I
still
think
love
I think
everybody.
I said the main thing: just love and free will and respect those.
We could
And
all be hippies together. Just love.
Just stay on your side of the commune.
Right?
right.
Right.
Okay, what's next on the agenda here? House Democrats are urging President Biden to use all the tools available to help undocumented immigrants. As House Republicans demand more border security measures from their perch in the majority, Democrats are asking President Joe Biden to use his executive status to further their party's immigration goals. Representatives Jerry Nadler and Pramila Jayapal, ranking members of the House Judiciary Committee and Immigration Subcommittee, respectively, led a letter from 103 Democrats to Biden and Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. It asked that officials use all the tools available to provide stability to undocumented individuals and recently arrived asylum seekers seeking to work lawfully, support their families, and contribute to the economy. I really have mixed feelings about the illegal immigrants. I mean, I do know that a lot of them are leaving the countries that they're from because they are scared, and a lot of times the drug cartels have taken over, and they're literally fleeing their country because they fear that their life is in danger, or they're worried about their kids. It's understandable. But at the same time, we can't just let everybody come in anytime they want and say, okay, there you are. We're going to support you. We'll put you on Social Security and Medicare and everything and give you a job and give you anything that everybody else gets. I mean, we have to draw the line somewhere. Now, is Biden doing enough? I don't know, but it's something that is hard for me to come down on one side or the other. So I guess that's a long way around saying I'm kind of wishy-washy on the subject. So, how do you feel about that, folks? Who wants to go first?
Well, since I'm running for president, I think I should start it off.
Oh, you ready for that?
Yeah. I'm actually, I put my paperwork in 6 days after Trump did last year, and I ran in 2020. So I'm one of the unknowns, but I'm still at it, and we'll talk more about that at the end. But this problem has been plaguing this country. It's broken immigration system from both parties for decades, and there should have been common sense laws that should have been made up in Congress years ago, because we still need people to help with the jobs of agriculture, and construction, especially what's going on down there in Florida with not no more migrants working down there because the economy down there, when it comes to construction of new buildings and new homes and new apartments, are at a stuck pace right now. And but right now we have them flowing over the border. They're talking about this wall, but there's proof that they're building tunnels. So I believe in a strong border, but also I believe in common sense immigration laws that we can allow people to come in. Not everyone can come in, but enough people that can meet the needs of our economy to help it grow from the bottom up. And just think about it, this country was built on immigration, and somehow we've forgotten it because of the influx and the wrongs that have been made by the two-party system, the leadership, not the people. That pretty much kicked the can down the road of this problem. So we have we got 22 million undocumented people in this country. We've already tried to talk about taking them back to their countries. That's not going to work because they already have kids here. So that the line of birth to this country is already here, and they're here to stay. But we got to give these people jobs and opportunities, but also not negating responsibilities to our citizens of their needs and their wants. Because look what's going on in New York. Just like what New York Mayor said, Mayor Adams, that it's destroying New York because they're running out of places, they're running out of resources, and it's taking out. It's taking. Sorry about that. It's taking. I'm listening. I got the phone call messing me up. A system should have been set up before, and the Republicans and Democrats can't find a way to come together by now. They should have, but what they're doing is fighting amongst each other, pointing out the blame about the same thing that they're at fault together about this immigration system. It's going to collapse us if we don't find new common solutions to this problem. And America is welcoming to all who wants freedom, no matter where you come from, no matter how poor you are. There have been families who come from poor countries and reshaped and remade America. So let's remember who we are. We're all immigrants off of a foreign land, from other lands, and we came here to try to show that we're all one, and we'll just find a way to come together on this issue.
Very good. The other, Michael?
No, I think he said it. It's been decades. There's never been a real good, solid immigration policy through Democrats or Republicans. It's just been different issues. And I travel a lot. I just never ran into an English-speaking person in a hotel making my beds and picking cotton and picking watermelons and picking our fruits and vegetables. There are jobs for them, but they got to come legally. My ancestors came legally. If you're not a full-blooded American Indian, you're a descendant of an immigrant.
Thank you so much for saying that word. I've been waiting for somebody to say the word legally. Thank you.
Yeah, legally. I mean, you can't just come over. I understand that you come from a country that's killing your kids and selling them to sex slavery and making drug dealers out of them, but you just can't come in. Maybe we have to help them solve their problems and work together with the other countries. But we need immigrants. Our country was built on immigrants, legal immigrants.
Yeah, I want legal. But I'm just saying the influx that we have now is they're here. I mean, we're going to throw out 22 million.
And a lot of it is politics.
The influx you have now, though, they're illegal, just coming across the border.
Right.
And our Jerry Nadar if you guys follow him, he wants these illegal immigrants to be able to vote because he feels that that is the Democrats' next constituents.
Well, I disagree with that. I don't. If you're illegal, you can't.
Right.
Bread and water, a roof to get yourself settled, maybe get a little job, whatever. But voting, no. There's always been that fear tactic from the Republican side. Not saying all Republicans believe that Republican leadership has said that it's a boogeyman tactic. Overall, to say the illegal illegal immigrants would be used as the voting base of the Democratic Party, new voting base of the Democratic Party. That'd be impossible. You got to be a natural born citizen to vote, or naturalized, legally. So it's got to be legal. Can't be illegal. I don't like that.
Yeah, no. If you're not an American, you don't get a vote or to decide anything politically. Enjoy your time here, but you're not making decisions for a country you know nothing about and don't belong in.
Absolutely.
Right.
Now,
But there should be go ahead. I'm sorry.
how is it working there? I know here, our government right now, it's like there's just no plan. It doesn't seem to be a plan in order. I think we all agree we're all on the same page. We need immigrants. We're all coming from immigrants, right? Like I think we're all on the same plan. And thank you for immigrants because I just love cultural foods from all over the world. But there has to be a plan. Our government seems to be just bringing in planes and planes and planes full of people from different parts of the world with no plan. And it's really affecting our economy in a negative state. I live not too far from Niagara Falls, the border of the states. Actually, I was across the border this morning. And in Canada, Niagara Falls, which is it's still the wedding capital of the world. Tourism in the summer keeps us afloat, certain parts of, the province. And our government brought in thousands upon thousands upon thousands of refugees, put them in the hotels in Niagara Falls and surrounding areas, and there's no place for tourists. So the economy is hurting desperately right now because there is no room for tourists. There's no hotels. The restaurants aren't making any money. Nothing is making any money because of all of the people that our government has brought in with no plan. Then they bus them to Toronto and just leave them. And it's so sad to see these families coming. They can't do anything. They can't go anywhere. They can't work. They're just set there. Okay. And they're separated from their families. It's extremely sad on both sides to see that our government doesn't have a plan, that our government is affecting us. We can't even buy a stick of butter for under $9, $10 now. Okay. A stick of butter. So
I didn't know about that one. Yeah.
Pardon?
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know about this $6, $7 for a stick of butter. Wow.
Oh, it's horrible. Like our inflation of food is incredible. And so we're bringing in these other people. And on the other side of that coin, the government's giving them money. Refugees is different than, there's a difference for refugees. And I understand that, but then they're bringing in some other foreigners and giving them money, giving them rent money, giving them grocery money, giving them education money, giving them all kinds of money. And you should come here and anywhere in this country. I think you're going to find tent city every single place you go that we've never seen ever in my life living in this country. Tent city, Canadians living in tents on every public park, while immigrants are coming in and given money and we can't afford to live. My sister's 54 years old and had to move back in with my mother. We cannot afford an apartment here. And these immigrants are getting all the money. So there's got to be a plan.
Well, we just go to Mexico, become citizens, and then smuggle ourselves over the border and get all the free money.
So I don't know if that's what's happening with you guys. I know that there's an issue with you guys too. So
it's the same. It's the same all over. And they're shipping these immigrants busloads without notice, just to get even, to make waves, to be politically,
and separating families. I know your American border. I don't know if it's false news because we have so much false news nowadays, but they show images of families in these, I'm going to call them cages, because what else do you call them? And they're taking the kids this way and the parents that way. And it's like, what is happening?
Yeah, that was at the border, and that was very, very big news a couple of years ago. But they're still separating families. And, we're not as bad as you are. I noticed today gas hasn't hit $4 yet. It's $3.99.9.
That's what it was when I went over the border this morning. $3.99.9.
But once that 4 goes on the board, now the Americans are going to get upset.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
A lot of it is just all politics now. And it's hard for us to have a border control plan because nobody can be sure that it's going to last more than 3.5 years.
Yeah.
Every 4 years, there could be a new plan.
That's true. That's true.
Well, anybody else got anything on that?
Hey, Steve, I'm actually going to have to jump off, sir, but I've really enjoyed myself, and thank you guys for having me.
We look forward to
Thank you,
seeing you
Ranger.
again.
Take
Thank you.
care. Nice meeting
Take
you.
care, brother.
You too.
Good night. All right, let's go to the next topic.
Wow, we're going to go through all these 9? All these, yeah.
Biden cancels remaining oil and gas leases in the Alaska mountains.
Mm.
In an aggressive move that angered Republicans, the Biden administration canceled the 7 remaining oil and gas leases in Alaska's Arctic National Wildlife Refuge on Wednesday, overturning sales held in the Trump administration's waning days, and proposed stronger protections against development on vast swaths of the National Petroleum Reserve in Alaska. Alaska is home to many of America's most breathtaking natural wonders and culturally significant areas. As the climate crisis warms the Arctic more than twice as fast as the rest of the world, we have a responsibility to protect this treasured region for all ages, Biden said in a statement. I really don't know how I feel about that, to be honest with you. I don't know what to say about that one. So I'm listening to what you people tell me about it. So who goes first?
I think we have a lot of oil that we can tap from many sources. I don't know why we have to go in and just destroy pristine, beautiful mountainsides and federal land and parks. And I mean, there are plenty of places that we stopped the leasing and the drilling. They have plenty of oil under it. So let's go back to where we know the oil is, and we've already destroyed the property. Instead of just going in and tearing up new property, new agriculture, and endangering the wildlife in new places for the sake of money. Basically, it's where there's easy money.
Yeah.
I agree with that 100%. And I don't think that how many oil leases that the United States has given the oil companies? Over 7,500, I think.
A lot. Yeah, I don't know the number.
And they haven't tapped that yet. Not
Right.
one oil well. So I don't understand to destroy that up there in Alaska, but you got more oil wells here.
Yeah,
That needs to be tapped. So I don't. I guess because I guess if they did it here because of oil futures, it's already out there. They already know they got the oil wells there, right? So they'd be made. The money's already made off of that. So they're keeping that closed because they know the oil's there. But if they can tap that oil up there, then the oil futures they'll make more money off of that as well.
But
so
they can tap the oil from the leases they already have
Yeah,
that they're not utilizing.
but when they had to spend money to build the oil pumps and all that stuff, since
Well,
they already got a cap.
they got to build them up there in the wilderness,
Yeah,
Exactly.
and then they got to build the pipelines that are going to send all of the Alaskan oil, probably sell it for a profit to Russia.
And then buy it back so you guys can have oil. That's what our country does.
Absolutely right. I'm in upstate New York, not far from Niagara Falls, but I'm right on the border of Pennsylvania. Williamsport was into fracking big time 5, 6, 7 years ago. Everything they took out of that ground went into a pipeline and right out of our country. And now our gas prices are rising, our taxes are rising. Those gold rush towns, I'll call them, are now ghost towns. You know, the little mom and pop diners added on 3 rooms for dining, and now they have 5 customers. And then with the fracking, the oil companies were dumping all the wastewater instead of where they were supposed to into our creeks and our cow pastures. I did drug testing for most of the pipelines, and they were the biggest violators of federal protocol that I ever worked with, behind the railroads, the airlines, and the trucking companies. I wrote a book, Drug Testing Exposed, Loopholes and Trade Secrets. And those oil companies came in here. They didn't pay the people's rents. They didn't pay for all the damage they did. And all that oil they took went outside of the United States. And now we have 2 or 3 maintenance people in every city just making sure the pipeline doesn't leak.
wow.
A lot of politics there. So we have plenty of oil. We have plenty of leases for people to drill oil. Let's go destroy Alaska 100 years from now when it's the last resource. Not just because it's convenient and there's less people to see us, and because it's going to be 3 times as expensive to work, set up, and pipe all that stuff out of there as opposed to out of Texas where we got leases that aren't being used.
And aren't we going to be by 2030 like electric anyway? So what's the point? Leave Alaska the way it is.
Yes.
Well,
No,
truth about the electric part is that you're still going to have power plants or more power plants to keep up with the power of the electric grid, the strain, because of all the electric cars. So we're still going to be burning fossil fuels just to create the electricity for the electric cars. I had to research that. I'm like, really? So why? I didn't get that part. So I was kind of confused on that one. So.
Well, see, what they're telling you is we need to go to electric because of the coal mines. All right. But now we have lithium mines. We're destroying Brazilian mountains and civilizations and causing floods and pollution. And it's just coal mining for a different material.
Right.
Yep.
And it's got the
they got the hydrogen. They got the hydrogen cars that are pretty much going to come out. But that technology has been out for years, and they just held back the patent so the oil companies can keep making money.
Sure, there was a guy in the 50s who had a carburetor that would give the car 50 miles to the gallon, and they tried to buy him out. They tried to threaten him out, and shut up. We can't afford to let your product get out to the public and start every car is getting 50 miles to the gallon in the 50s.
Exactly.
Right.
So I mean, it's again, whoever's getting the profits is squashing the common sense.
Right.
I mean, I agree with the fossil fuels and the polluting the atmosphere and everything, but with the billions and billions and billions of dollars these people are making, I'm sure we can recycle some of those exhausts from those pipes into more energy.
Yeah.
But the billionaires never have enough money. They always want more.
Well, even when we were bailing GM out in all the auto industries years ago, we were bailing them out, giving them millions of dollars. The CEOs were all getting bonus packages.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. That really made me mad about that. And the
Yeah, I
workers
mean,
were left out in the dark. So
sure, we're bailing them out, and they're getting $1 million bonuses.
Yeah.
And it seems like in this country, if you're a CEO and you fail, boy, we're going to give you a severance package like no other.
Yeah.
mhm. It used to be about businesses about making money, about the risk factor, and as much risk that you intake, hopefully the reward will be great if the risk pans out in your benefit. But now it's like Robin Hood in reverse. Like they give these tax cuts and these oil what do you call it, oil subsidies that our government has been giving, what, 6 billion every year, 6-7 billion every year to Chevron and to Shell company, Shell gas company, and can't think of the other one, BP. So yeah, that's got to be cut out as well.
I don't know if Lamar's old enough to remember, but when the Valdez and the oil spills in the Gulf,
Yeah,
we went to clean
Yeah,
it all
Obama
up.
was the president.
No, it was before him.
before that,
Valdez?
yeah, I remember.
Yeah, it was a while back. It was before, I think it was Clinton, or even a little bit before Clinton. But we went in to clean up all those oil spills with our chemicals, and the areas that we did not get to healed themselves naturally much faster and much better.
Well, that was like 30 years ago, if not more. Wasn't
Yeah,
it?
I'm gonna say it was a long
Yeah.
time ago.
It was a long time
80s.
ago.
I mean,
Late 80s.
in the
Yeah,
Everglades?
in the 80s, yeah. And
In the Everglades, in Florida.
In
well,
the ocean.
more in the Gulf.
In the Gulf.
In the Gulf, yeah.
Okay.
In the Gulf, where they had that big oil leak, they couldn't cap it.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
when Dawn got famous because they used it for all the sea creatures and stuff to wash the birds and
Yeah, that's right. Don
Right.
Dish soap. Yeah.
oh, that was like 30 years ago.
Yeah, but I remember some Discovery Channel or something like that. The areas that we did not go in and clean up were beautiful. Mother Nature did a wonderful job cleaning all those areas up. And where we went in with our foams and our cleansers and all that, took years and years and years and destroyed more of the coastline than it helped. But we made a lot of money.
But we made a lot of money.
But we made a lot of money.
It always goes back to the money.
Always.
Okay, anything else on that topic?
Not for me.
Okay, the next one. Federal court. Biden White House likely violated First Amendment.
You think?
A federal appeals court ruled that the Biden administration likely violated Americans' First Amendment rights when it worked to censor speech during the COVID-19 pandemic. In the Friday decision, the United States Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals said the White House Surgeon General, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Federal Bureau of Investigation improperly commandeered speech. We find that the White House, acting in concert with the Surgeon General's office, likely coerced the platforms to make their moderation decisions and significantly encouraged the platform's decisions, the three-judge panel wrote. We find that the FBI too likely coerced the platforms into moderating content and encouraged them to do so by effecting changes to their moderation policies, both in violation of the First Amendment it added. The decision modifies a lower court preliminary injunction which prohibited a wide-ranging group of government officials from coercing the social media platforms to take down or limit posts on their websites.
Now, which White House are they talking about?
Biden's,
Biden's. Okay.
yeah.
No surprise there.
Just
Well,
wanted to
why is that not a
clarify.
surprise?
Say that again?
Why is that not a surprise?
Well, I mean, the Biden administration, I mean, now is mainly coming out on a lot of things, especially with my story, because I have an active lawsuit against his Justice Department about my First Amendment rights, about my story about what happened between me and Trump back during the 2020 election. And so I'm not surprised at all. If you do something like that towards me, you can do anything else. So,
Okay. What you think, Kim?
Well, I don't know too much about it. Being, the American politics, I try to stay on top of some things, but I don't think it's uncommon with governments. I don't think anywhere it's uncommon. I don't know if you guys know this, but our country just censored us for our news. Canada has been censored.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It's a big thing right
crap.
now. So, welcome to, and our government and Biden, they're pretty much the same. I don't have a lot of nice things to say. So it doesn't surprise me that the White House, Biden's administration, what have you, FBI, violated the First Amendment. They don't want us talking. They don't want us, just they want to do what they do in the dark and let them be.
And the whole thing that they were trying to silence was people that were talking about COVID-19.
Yeah.
But like I said, that's what I said earlier when we talked about COVID-19, that they're actively trying to cover up what really happened with the startup and everything, and trying to cloud the real truths out there. And that's why we're so divided on masks and vaccines and this and that. So, they're continually doing it.
Well, our government tried to tell Canadians that it was because started on Facebook and Instagram. We're censored on Facebook and Instagram, so we're not allowed to get certain news and from the States and other places. And they said it's because we weren't getting paid. Our government wasn't getting paid. You guys can probably read on it, but that's turns out to be that's just a bunch of bullshit. It's bull.
Exactly. Paid?
It's control, right? Like who censors who are you to tell me what news I can watch?
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of like how in China they're forcing them to watch that state TV, and in Russia they say we're free, but free of you what? I don't understand that. I mean, I'm experiencing something that I've never thought I would experience as a candidate for president, and I mean, I believe in what our forefathers fought, but there's still been that pushback to take us back to a time and an era that all of us ain't really free, just for some that are free, and most of the rest of them, we serve them. You know what I'm saying?
Right?
Yeah. What's that story, that movie called the put the glasses on and you see the world in different. What's that name of that movie?
Is that the one
They're
Ronnie
Alive,
Popper was in?
I'm Alive, or They're Alive, or something like that. And he had the glasses on. He looked at what the real world is behind the scenes. So
Yeah, it was Roddy Piper.
They're
I
alive.
remember.
Roddy Piper, yeah.
I
love that
That was a long time ago.
long time ago, but it's kind of similar like that. But like I said, we just got to wake up and see the realities of what this administration is doing. And since they think they can really get away with anything besides of keeping the truth from the American people. Just for example, like the one thing that Biden did was right before the midterms of 2022, right? Where the information about the documents he had, it didn't come out until after about a month or two after the midterm. But the story supposed to have hit on the news a few days before the midterms of 2022. But Biden told his Justice Department to make sure the story doesn't come out until after the midterms. So, I mean, this story right here is, like I said, I'm not surprised. That's why we need a change.
All righty. Anybody else on that?
I'm good on that one.
All righty. Let's see what's next on the agenda. Here's an interesting story. After sullying the Women's World Cup Luis Rubiales is now a Spanish soccer outcast. Barcelona, Spain, 1 week after the president of the Spanish Soccer Federation kissed a player during the Women's World Cup Awards ceremony, his reputation is in tatters and he's out of his job. Luis Rubiales, whose leadership of Spanish soccer had already been marked by successes tinged with scandal, wrecked his career by offending millions worldwide with his conduct at the final in Sydney, Australia, when he also grabbed his crotch in a victory gesture. Rubiales cannot run Spanish soccer again, Spanish Minister Maria Jesus Montero said Sunday, a day after he was provisionally suspended by FIFA for 90 days. We had enough of him when he marred the great triumph of women's soccer with his intolerable attitude. You know, to me, I think they made a lot more horrible accusations about this than what should be. I mean, it was a kiss, you know? I mean, he didn't rape her, he didn't sexually molest her. It was a kiss. And I don't know, is it just me or are they making too big of a deal out of that? What do y'all think about that?
I think Kim
Come on.
might want to answer that one.
I don't know
So I think
anything.
Kim might
about
want to answer that first, get a woman's opinion.
Okay, go ahead, Kim.
Well, unfortunately, I don't know anything about this. So, I could quickly Google something, I suppose. But, it was a kiss. I mean, I'm not one of these. Oh, so yeah.
It was an award ceremony after they won the World's Cup.
So
Okay?
he just went up and kissed her like a congratulatory kiss?
Exactly. And he kissed her on the
Pretty
lips.
much.
And supposedly that was a lot of women got really upset over that. Not just women, but it's mostly women. And they've made a big deal out of it. And he's lost his job and his reputation has been tarnished. I mean, it was a kiss.
If I'm going to go by the information you're giving me right now with knowing nothing, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
People really need to I don't understand this world right now. Everybody's like so offended over every little thing. If it was a celebratory and they, mwah, and let's, whatever. Now, grabbing his crotch, that's something different. I don't understand. That's it's a professional sport.
Yeah, different.
It's a, you have to have a code of conduct. The kiss, I honestly, if somebody was celebrating with me and we just came up and they're like, oh, thank you, and that was it and it was gone, I would be like, okay, I wouldn't really think. Depends on how it was. Honestly, it just depends. If he was like, mwah, I might be a little upset, especially if I was married, and I am married, but I don't know. I'm not that anal.
I didn't read enough about it. If it was a wet, juicy kiss, a celebratory kiss,
Well, Lamar,
or
It was-
does he
it
have
was
a
more-
history of?
It was more of the second one, Kim. The ladies who were coming by, I believe she was first in line. If I remember the way the video went, but she came, he had his hands on both sides of her head and gave her a kiss. Wasn't just a peck, but it was a nice sized kiss. And then he let her go. And the lady said that she really did not want the kiss. She didn't appreciate it. And so essentially that's tantamount to sexual assault. She didn't ask for it. And it wasn't, just how you doing? It was he was
I didn't hear that part when I seen it.
it was a long kiss. He was thrilled. He was happy that his countrywoman, won the cup.
Yeah.
But
okay, so
I was a little too happy doing that.
I just Googled it. I just saw
Right,
it.
but-
One that was 12 seconds.
Yeah.
That was
See, it was longer than my kiss, but
no.
it was
I didn't see that.
it was out of character for him. He should not have done it. It was rude, and
But to lose
know,
his career?
Yeah, that seems
you
like
know,
a
you would
lot.
think a person at that level, you should know. And with the whole Me Too movement, and I think that's where it came out of, is the whole Me Too movement, and everybody's offended, mainly the women, of course, the women. But you have to draw the line someplace. At what point do you just go ahead and let a man, say, my personal feelings override yours? Much the same as in the US, as when does a man have the right to say my rights are better or override that of a woman to control her own body?
Well, it didn't happen in the U.S. It happened in Spain.
Well, it
I
doesn't
guess
matter.
my-
where it
my-
happens.
But the point's still the same, though. The man took advantage of the lady, and she did not want. Ooh, excuse me. She did not want it to happen, and so from there comes the whole outrage as more people learn about the issue, and it's even more people saying he was wrong. And he comes around later and says, "Oh, I'm sorry. Well, sorry is gone.
Yeah.
You should have known from your position that, one, you shouldn't have touched her in that way. It's one thing to shake her hand, say congratulations, and let it go. But to go and kiss her, maybe kiss your daughter, but you don't kiss another person that you're not
Kiss her on the
related to."
cheek. You could kiss her on the cheek. Like, that's, to me, that's not a violation. I don't
If
know.
it's your
I'm with
culture.
you, Lamar. I hear you, Lamar. And I agree with you. But, kiss her on the cheek, whatever. I don't think that deserves losing your career over. Maybe,
Right.
again, I didn't see
But
anything.
But I think it's the way he kissed her and for the length
Right.
is the issue. That's
Right.
That's the purpose of why he lost his career.
Yeah.
So I'm curious.
he's-
Is there a backstory? Does he have a history? Has he done it before at
Yeah,
other celebrations?
yeah. As a matter of fact, during this year, some of his players refused to play under him because they were claiming that he had made improper advances toward them. So the whole team has been in flux all year over that, and he was already in hot water with the team, and that's why nobody even thought they would have a good year. And then they won the World Cup, and yeah, he had a bad reputation, but still, that was just the kiss.
Well, that one incident, whether it was too much or not, can be debated. But if he's got a history of sexual inappropriate behavior, well, then that kiss really shouldn't have happened at all.
Exactly. Well, we see here on there, it says tinged with scandal. So has been marked by success tinged with scandal. So that's telling me that he's had more than one incident. Already been marked by success tinged with scandal already. So it seems to me like it's happened more than once, and shame on him. If it's
So he
exactly.
he didn't lose his career over that one
Yeah.
poorly demonstrated Lamar kiss.
Right.
Yeah, this is, I guess, was the straw that broke the camel's back. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know too much about this story, just about what I'm hearing from y'all. But I mean, yeah, you can't put yourself in those type of compromising situations, and you got to think about your career and whatnot, and think about other people's spaces and how comfortable or uncomfortable they might be.
And he didn't have a mask on when he kissed her.
Oh,
No,
crap.
I'm kidding, Lamar.
Well, they got one with zipper. They got the one with the zipper. You're gonna zip it and have a kid to zip it back. Yeah, I've seen those. But
But I was just thinking when I read this, I'm 68 years old and I've kissed a lot of people over the years and I never asked them for permission. And I've been kissed by a lot of people and nobody ever asked me for permission. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, back then it was all right, but now how everybody's so sensitive about this, that, and the other because of certain people kind of take advantage, and then people get worried about that and copycat off of that, and then
So next time you want to kiss your wife or your kids, make sure you ask for permission, okay?
and then look at the lip.
It is
Look
the
at their
world
lip.
we live in, though. It is the world we live in, and I suppose
Yeah.
men and women have to recognize that this is the world and keep, it's not the same world, so keep your distance.
Yeah.
I work with a young lady that does my web stuff. I've been working with her for 10 years, and she's the same age as my daughter. And I've shook her hand once or twice, but I've never touched her. I've never hugged her. I've never kissed her on the cheek. And one day we were celebrating something and almost came there, and I said, "Stop. I may run for politics someday, and you never know where the cell phone is."
That's right.
Yeah, I've been kind of careful on doing that. So as a president candidate, so I can understand that fully.
Yeah.
So true.
Just remember, Michael, you're supposed to shake the hands and kiss the babies, not the other way around.
That's
That-
right.
that-
That's right.
That's
And
it.
I've been taking this young lady to a diner every Tuesday for breakfast for a business meeting to see what we're going to do next week. And then usually I'll take my wife for dinner when she gets out of work. This has gone on for almost 10 years. One day, my wife and I met her for breakfast. You should have seen the waitresses and the owner thought, what is this guy doing bringing his mistress and his wife to breakfast?
That's funny.
And it took us weeks to convince them that she just worked for him.
That's funny. I just want to say a comment that you said, Steve. I think you said, Steve, you said, shake the hands of the adults and kiss the babies. And I
Yeah.
just thought, unless you're Biden, please stop kissing the babies, Biden.
Yeah.
It's so disturbing.
Yeah, he can get touchy-feely, can't he?
Yeah.
I think Biden kind of screwed that up with the originality about that. So I hope I can bring it back with a little bit more style and appeal. But yeah, sour milk on that one.
See, that's hard. That's hard for me. I'm Italian. I talk with my hands.
Well, folks, we have two more articles, but since we've already been over 2 hours, and I'm going to give all of you a chance to plug whatever you want to plug, your podcast, your book, your website, or whatever. What do you say we go ahead and just start that now, okay?
All right.
So, Kim, you want to go ahead and go first? Tell what you want to tell about what you do and what you got going on.
All right. Well, we'll do the This Is Your City one. I had it on rest for a little bit, things going on. So I'm reviving my podcast called This Is Your City. And it's basically, I believe every single person has a story to tell. And I love to hear people's stories. So, I've interviewed famous people, some heart surgeons from around the world, to local people who do volunteer work, children who do extraordinary things. So I just love to speak to people with a story, businesses, communities, the tapestry. It's a tapestry that makes a community, right? So that's what I do. And I love to interview people. So if any of you have a story that you'd like to tell and be on a podcast, Michael's like, hello, and Lamar, I would love it. And I'm reviving it. I had it on. And Mike and Steve. And so that's what we're doing. We're reviving the podcast coming up very shortly, just changing the website and stuff right now. So if you, all the way from, there's a gentleman that I interviewed. He spent 15 years in prison for rape and murder of his schoolmate. 15 years later, he was exonerated through DNA.
Wow.
So stuff like that, right? And so some pretty interesting stuff. Anyway, yeah, that's what I do, and I would love to have you all. If you, I can put it in the chat, my email. You guys can. I don't even have the chat. There is no chat. Is there a chat?
There is a chat.
Mine says.
Depending on how you got your screen set, you may not see it.
Oh, I see it. I had it in full view. Okay, so I'm just gonna put it in the chat. And yeah, so I would. It would be great to speak with
Well,
you
you put
guys.
it in the private chat, but that's okay. We can see it, so that's fine.
info@thisisyourcity.ca.
Okay. All righty. Well, thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
Lamar, I know you got a lot going on, brother.
Yeah, I'm just writing down Kim's information.
Okay, thank you. Lamar Callahan, founder of tutorsforyou.org. And what we do is we provide online tutoring for children for $5 an hour for children and adults around the world. We are children from preschool to 12th grade and adults. We have classes from preschool to GED classes, college prep, business classes, accounting classes, TikTok dancing. I know everybody wants that class. We have Money 101. We have financial classes. We have mental health classes. We have 30 language classes. We have special needs. We have over 100 classes. I'll leave it there. Everybody should visit the site. Our tutors are not high school students. They're not college students. They're actually experienced teachers from around the world. We have teachers that have taught for over 30 years. We currently have 14 doctors, with doctorates. So we actually have the depth and the skill sets to provide a real education, live courses, none of it's taped, to help yourself and your family, your children, to get the education they need without having to break the family bank. The average family is currently paying $30 to $300 for a tutor. In an effort to help families out, we've brought down that cost to $5 an hour. And so that's what we're looking to do, is to help families financially and to provide a service that gives you a great education at a price that you can afford.
Very good.
And our website is tutorsforyou.org. Our local number is 813-743-3273.
All right. Thanks, Lamar. Michael Von Rentery.
Thank you.
Okay. My wife and I are looking at a retirement gig in podcasting. We've both been entrepreneurs in business together and separately, 40 years each. We've spent the last 40 years as entrepreneurs, consulting entrepreneurs. My wife is a 38-year self-employed attorney, so she's done everything under the sun from a legal aspect. I'm a self-made business consultant. I grew up in a family business that got embezzled by the Italian mafia, and I took on the local New York FBI and the mafia using business tactics, and we dissolved 25-year investigations. I've got a special side gig of 40 years exposing corruption in law enforcement and helping citizens get rid of drug dealers and gangs in their neighborhoods. those are both things that we offer in consulting. And our website is mikeandjoeconsulting.com. Nothing against LGBT, but Joe is a woman and there's no E on her name. So it's Mike and Joe, J-O, consulting.com. And we are willing to work with anybody together or separately. The crime prevention gig is my gig, and I've had some New York Times bestsellers. Mike Levine, a former DEA agent, wrote a book and dedicated it to me. And we've gone all over the country helping citizens fight crime and undermine long-term investigations that just make crime worse.
Okay. Michael Landingham. You have anything going on? I think you're muted, brother. You have to unmute yourself. You're muted, Michael.
And he froze.
Yeah, he's been popping in and out the last couple of minutes here.
Okay, well, we'll get him back later. I want to tell everybody about my newest book is still available, The Dark Truth, a chilling story of Summerwell's disappearance. Is available on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and all the big booksellers. So,
Sorry about that. I'm back.
yeah, we see you. Here we go. Finally, you back, brother.
Yeah, let me be real quick because my battery's going dead and my thing is not working here. I am running for president in 2024 like I did in 2020. The only reason why you never heard of me because 13 days out the gate when I just announced, Donald Trump contacted me pretending he's one of my white cousins by the name of David Van Landeghem. And on December 10th, 2018, he contacted me on the third day and said he wanted me dead and gone. He knows where I'm at. And the Cleveland police decided to call the FBI. So right now, I have a website that you can take a look at, landinghamcase.com, is where you'll see the text messages between me and Donald Trump on December 8th, 9th, and 10th of 2018. The Secret Service already has confirmed it. It was him. I have a $2 billion federal lawsuit, civil lawsuit, against the Justice Department under Joe Biden because he's telling his Justice Department to keep my story from coming out. And I got proof that they try to cover up everything. I have police records. I got letters from Senator Sherrod Brown of Ohio and Congresswoman Marcy Kaptur of Ohio, who both did my Freedom of Information Acts. And under the Trump administration and now the Biden administration, they both lied on my Freedom of Information Act right now. So I'm in the appeals process to remove the judge because she was handpicked by Trump because she just straight out dismissed the case the same day as the courts accepted the lawsuit. And how you look that up is Landingham versus Department of Justice. So I've been actively trying to get the story out. And that's why my phone's been active. All this stuff is going on because I guess somebody knows I'm about to tell the truth or talk about what happened. But that's what happened. Donald J. Trump said he can shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and get away with it. He almost tried that with me. And the Biden administration is trying to block that. But I worked diligently to get my story out there. I have a $2 billion lawsuit. I've already proven it in court. I just need the American people in the world to see what really happened. And that'll be the only way I can believe that we can remove the hold that Donald Trump has in the Republican Party and bring real change and unity back to America with the truth. And that's me.
Very good. We got some very interesting people here, creative people. We're doing good stuff. So thank you all for being here. Kim, I hope you will come back. You are welcome anytime.
Are you sure? Thank you.
Absolutely a pleasure. And because you're invited, you're illegal.
Great to have you, Kim. Great to have you.
Yes, Kim. Thank you. Great to meet you.
Thank you, guys. It was great to meet you all, and I hope to meet you again so we can have some good, strong opinions.
There you go. And everybody watching, we thank you for tuning in tonight to another exciting episode of the Night Crew. And we never fail to have some good conversation. So good night to everybody, and I wish you all the best. And we'll see you next time on the Night Crew. Good night.
Right.
All right. Good night, all. Bye.